All right, and we should be live. Hello.
That we are.
Hello, everyone.
Hey guys, PIEGUYRULZ here. Welcome to the award show Audit 2000.
Yeah, Y2K, we made it.
Yeah.
Dang, we've been doing this for 20 years.
Hope our computers can handle going back to the 90s.
Oh boy.
The reverse of Y2K. Hey everyone, get hyped. We got some weird stuff to talk about this week.
Yes, we do.
As we say goodbye to the 2000s.
Yeah, another decade down.
Yep, and I just want to also plug the fact that at 9 o'clock tonight, I'll be hanging out with Jim over on Twitter to talk about some Simpsons episodes. Some more Simpsons episodes. Because we get to talk about another one tonight.
There's not enough Simpsons already.
Yes.
Let me guess, guys, I'm too quiet, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm waiting for someone to tell me I'm too quiet.
I think you're too quiet in spirit.
Wow. That's I've never felt more critiqued in my life than I was.
Okay. All right. So we're in the year 2000. Continuing my trend of talking about movies for 2000, and I think when we get to the 90s, I think I'm gonna switch it up and go to music, and we'll see the top music of the 90s.
I'm hardly gonna know that. I mean, maybe a couple songs, but like.
Okay, top 10 highest grossing films of 2000 to get us in the mood of 2000. That's why I do this at the top of the show. You know, we got to set the scene here. Shadow, what was the #1 highest grossing film of 2000? What's your guess? Or just give me any of them. You got any guesses? Name a 2000 movie. You know some of these.
X-Men. X-Men was 2000,
yes.
Right?
X-Men is number 9.
Number 9. Oh, wow. Well, yeah, okay. That was before the huge...
You wanted it to be number 10 to be for X, like the Roman numeral?
Yeah, of course.
No. All right, well, number 10 is What Lies Beneath. I never heard of that.
Wouldn't have gotten that.
Number 8 is The Perfect Storm. Never heard of that.
What about Disney's Dinosaur? Was that number 1, right?
Number 5! Disney's Dinosaur!
Are you serious?
I feel like we're playing Family Feud.
Was it that
number
high?
5. Yeah.
Oh my
349 million worldwide gross.
That's insane.
That was a lot back then, guys.
What else was in 2000? Gladiator was 2000, right?
Yes, Gladiator was number 2.
Oh, dang! What was number 1?
Yeah. Well, number 7 is a comedy featuring Ben Stiller. Pretty well known. Little number called Meet the Parents. Never seen it?
I've never seen it either, but that sounds familiar.
Number 6 did a recast episode on this. I don't think... Actually, maybe you were on this episode. I don't remember. No, I think it might have just been me and Monsters.
Wait, a recast episode?
Actually, I guess we technically didn't talk about this, but we talked about 2 other versions of this. It's the season.
Grinch? Jim Carrey's Grinch?
Yeah, Jim Carrey one.
I wasn't
How the
on
Grinch
that
Stole
one.
Christmas.
I did my own video on Illumination's Grinch and how awful it was.
Yeah, we talked about the Illumination one and the original Grinch. Yeah. I don't remember who the guest was, if there was one. Number 5 is Disney's Dinosaur, as you said. Number 4 was What Women Want. Number 3 is a pretty popular movie starring Tom Hanks. On an island. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Yeah, okay.
Number 2 is Gladiator, like you said. And number 1, bump, 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 bump,
Mission
bump,
Impossible.
bump, bump.
Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
All right, we got there.
That was the highest. Well, yeah, okay. I guess that was at the peak of Mission Impossible, like when it was super big.
Yep. I can't believe we had to say dinosaurs. They're here. They're all here forever. Dinosaur fever. At least
we don't have to talk about it.
Well, I should point out. Hang on. One more note on dinosaurs. So, Shadow visited my house this weekend. We hung out together, and we watched all 5 of these nominees this week together. We also watched the animated segment from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes. Boba Fett.
Yeah, with Boba Fett. But we also checked out. So we wanted to see what dinosaur garbage was on. What dinosaur stuff was on Disney Plus, and only a few things came up when you type in dinosaur. Disney's dinosaur, of course. And then there is only one CGI dinosaur Nat Geo special on Disney Plus. Surprising. But the other thing that comes up is some preschool show, and then Walking with Dinosaurs, the movie, the CGI theatrical like 2014-ish movie that people hate, that has a horrible rating on Rotten Tomatoes. We watched. All I did, right, because I heard it was so bad. I heard it was super bad. I heard everything, basically every review I read on Rotten Tomatoes was visuals are super impressive. The voice acting and childish humor are just beyond stupid.
They were right.
Yes, I skipped to a random part. Just a random part in the middle of it because we weren't gonna watch the whole thing. And the first thing we see is the main character talking to someone else, like a dinosaur talking to something, but no one's mouth is moving, so we don't know what the other voice is. Maybe it's like a flea on his back or something. Don't know. And then we see him get literally crapped on by another dinosaur. We actually see dinosaur excrement fall on his head.
Yep, that was the first joke that we saw. If you
Yep.
can even call it a joke.
Yeah.
I just call it an unfortunate circumstance.
And speaking of crap, The Good Dinosaur is also on Disney Plus.
Which
No,
I've
I
never
just
seen.
just kidding, just kidding. I don't mind. But yeah, there's not actually a lot of dinosaur stuff on Disney Plus. So yeah.
Yeah, there's also that Nat Geo thing, but
Mm.
which had a really weird looking dinosaur. But yeah, no, I'm past it. I'm done. I'm done with dinosaurs. No more.
Yeah.
No more
Okay.
dinos.
All right, Shadow. What do we got for the 5 nominees for the 2000 half-hour animated
Alrighty.
Emmy?
Well, as always, like you said, we got 5 nominees this year. And first up, we have Family Guy back after a short hiatus, I guess, with the episode Road to Rhode Island. Following that, we have Downtown, MTV's Downtown, with the episode Before and After. Following that, we have South Park, once again, with the episode Chin Pokemon. Powerpuff Girls is nominated again this year with the episodes Beat Your Greens and Down and Dirty. And then, finally, we have The Simpsons, what a surprise, with the episode Behind the Laughter. There you go. Those are the 5 nominees for the year 2000.
Okay. Here we go.
Alrighty, so we can just go ahead and jump right into the first of these. Like I said, Family Guy, Road to Rhode Island. And as I think you've mentioned, this is the start of what would later become a stapled series of episodes across the course of Family Guy,
Yeah.
right?
Road to whatever, where it's like Brian and Stewie go on some big adventure over the course of an episode. I think some of them might have been like double length. I'm not really sure. Yep, as we know, it is directed by Dan Povenmire. We saw that immediately. The director credit, one of the creators of Phineas and Ferb. Thank you for the super chat, Faith. I know you like this episode, so I'm sorry. So yeah, directed by Dan Povenmire, and it's funny because there's a line in this where someone asks Stewie if he's a little too young to be doing something, and Stewie's like, no, and then I'm just like, oh, that's the Phineas and Ferb thing. He did it. I guess Dan Povenmire is always accusing people of being too young to do something.
Ooh,
I wish this episode had Doofenshmirtz in it.
that would have been amazing.
Okay, so anyway, so this episode is about Stewie's in Florida, and Brian has to go get him, but Brian's been a little bit inebriated because he's sad about his mom not being there or being taken away from his mom. And so him and Stewie have to find a way to get home when they can't get on their flight.
Hilarity ensues.
Meanwhile, Peter watches something saucy. Oh, what'd you think of this, Shadow?
I don't know. it was underwhelming, I guess. I don't the reason I use the word underwhelming is because like this seems to it has the elements of being like a special episode in the sense that we have this kind of
Special title cards.
yeah. We also have the plot line. Oh yeah, you know what? I completely forgot about them until you mentioned them. But yeah, that's right. They do have the special title cards. But like we have the opening establishment of like Brian being separated by his mother, and you think that's going to be like a big like plot point, which was ultimately underwhelming in my eyes. The song is there, which also felt underwhelming. Just the entire premise was underwhelming, and yeah, I don't know. I can't really describe a better word. Or I can't describe this with any better word. It just felt like I see a lot of like good ideas here that ultimately just didn't feel like they lived up to the potential that it could have been.
Hi, Zane. Anyway, yeah, I thought this was okay. Like, it just kind of seemed like chill. Like, if I was a fan of Family Guy, I'd enjoy this. It's a season 2 episode. It's very early, and it definitely feels kind of tame, I guess, for Family Guy. Like if comparing it to PTV, which is one of the other few episodes we've seen on here, PTV is definitely a much more like manic, in your face, joke-a-minute episode. Whereas I don't think this episode like has as many jokes. The story is just like whatever. I don't really care about these characters, and it's just personally I'm just not into Family Guy, so maybe that's just me, but I don't really care about Brian and his mom. And then the fact that he finds his mom's dead body and then buries it, and that's the resolution. Yeah. I didn't really think that was that satisfying. And that's about it. Like it's fun. Like I didn't dislike this episode. I just thought it was like, it's okay. And yeah, if it weren't for the special titles at the beginning, I wouldn't have thought really anything of this. It's not any longer than an average episode. It doesn't have like extra special animation. It has a song, but it's not a musical. Mm-hmm. So it's fine.
Yeah, like I said, like my expectations weren't like through the roof or anything. I wasn't expecting this to be the magnum opus of Family Guy, but just given the initial setup, like that opening scene with Brian like being separated by his mom, you think that's going to play a bigger role than it ultimately does. And I'm sorry, Faith. I you know what? Cancel me all you want, but
yeah, I don't know that anyone's going to get really that mad that we dislike a Family Guy episode.
No, it's not your fault, Faith. But like, I don't know. Family Guy is also not really a show that I vibe with too much. So
yeah,
you know, I don't have an attachment to it either. I'm not nearly as interested in it as I am with other shows like South Park and Simpsons, which I've been exposed to more through this live stream show. But ultimately, I think it's harmless. Like, I mean, it's really not. It's not outright bad. I don't think there's any like blaring writing problems. I think that the whole subplot with like Peter and Lois is just kind of like
it's there. It's not a story. It's just, basically it's like
he sits in front of the TV and then Lois is like, "What's he watching? Oh, this is what he's watching. Now I'll do it in real life," and that's it.
That's it. It there's not a conflict. Like he tries to hide it from Lois, but it turns out Lois is cool with it. So I don't know. They felt the need to have a subplot. That's it. I think there's also like a Z plot with Chris and Meg where they do something. They what is it? It's like, guess what animal I'm thinking of, and it's not a kitty.
Oh, kitty.
Is it a kitty?
Yeah.
You know, Meg.
Did you know that Robot Chicken?
Robot Kitty is the #1 show.
That is unintentionally the funniest Family Guy joke that I know.
And it's probably for the worst Family Guy thing we've seen so far.
It is. It really, truly is. But it's like the #1 joke that's stuck with me.
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, Hayden. I like the Danny Phantom Christmas special. So yeah.
Sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze for a second there. I had to mute. But yeah, no. Ultimately, this episode it's fine. Do I think it's award worthy? I mean,
Nice song.
yeah, I'd say it barely award worthy. Like it has the ingredients there. It's just not extravagant or exceptional. But there's definitely a lot of things that we've seen other episodes be nominated for, or at least we interpret them being nominated for. So like, I think
Here's the thing too. The further we go back in time, I think the barrier for entry is lower in my mind, just because there are less animated shows being produced that are actually of quality. To be honest, there's just less options for them to choose from. Family Guy was new at this point; it was only its second season.
Yeah.
So like, I would say it's award worthy, but not particularly great in my opinion. Award worthy in that it has a very nice, pleasant song in it. The animation is not bad. I didn't think there was anything special about it, but it's not bad. And yeah, so thank you for the super chat, Gian, who says, "Wow, lot of super chats on Family Guy here."
Wow,
Who says the early on Family Guy was trying to be much more like The Simpsons, didn't get the manic rep until after it got revived. That definitely makes a lot of sense. And I don't know, for better or worse, I kind of think the manic vibe fits the show better. Like, I think it can be very off-putting in a lot of episodes, but just the thing I appreciated the most about PTV is just that it threw, like, 6 gags at you every minute, and even if, like, one of them was bad, one of them was racist, one of them was, boring or whatever, like, there would still be 1 or 2 in there that's like, that's real funny. Like, I don't know that anything in this was, like, super funny.
Yeah, I didn't really recall myself laughing out loud at all, really, but...
You didn't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I laughed at 1 or 2 things. I don't think you laughed at all.
Yeah, I don't remember. But...
So...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. Dan Povenmire's cool.
That he is.
This show's better than Milo Murphy's Law.
Oh, he said it. I've never seen it to really compare it, so I don't know. But I'll take your word for it.
I just made like 1 or 2 people in listening to this really mad.
Yep. Okay, well, we can move on to the next nomination before we make it worse.
I guess. Yeah, why not?
Okay. Alrighty, so second up we have MTV's Downtown with the episode Before and After.
Oh, man.
This is a very strange experience watching this.
Okay, so in the 90s, MTV made a lot of cartoons for whatever reason.
Believe it or not, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Beavis and Butthead was a success. Dario was a success. Clone High was a little underground darling. But they made a bunch of... Yeah, they made a bunch of other shows that only lasted 1 season, including like a Spider-Man show.
Yep, I was going to bring that up. A really crappy Spider-Man show at that.
That also features someone that is problematic, I think, right? That's the one? Yeah. So I had never heard of this show, but and it only lasted 1 season. It's the premise of the show, as far as we can tell, is about like 6 urban teenagers / young adults, maybe. One of them has an apartment, that are just kind of living and going to high school and living in the city and, dealing with real issues. The show has a very conversational tone. And from what I read, it's like loosely based off of stories that were told by teenagers. I don't know exactly what that means. Yeah. But you could definitely see it watching this. The premise of this particular episode is that the one guy, Alex, not pictured here, wants to get rid of doesn't want to get rid of a stuff in his apartment, but his one friend does want him to get rid of stuff because she's like, you'll never get a girlfriend with a bunch of junk in your apartment. Meanwhile, the one girl thinks that the other girl is copying her all the time, so she does something.
Yep.
And takes a picture of it.
Yep.
And then that picture goes missing, and it's a sensitive picture, and they team up to look for it.
Yep.
The theme of the episode is that stuff goes missing.
Yep. It's got an interesting art style. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
It's definitely very visually distinct, and it definitely encapsulates the whole urban style and setting, especially of that time period with
Yeah.
the clothing and the fashion that's in the show. But I think that's definitely probably its most remarkable aspect is the
Well,
art
I would say this one is actually award worthy.
hmm
Not necessarily the episode, but just the show because I don't necessarily think I like it, to be honest, but I think that what it's doing is a bit different.
hmm
It is very conversational in that, like, the characters will just kind of be talking about just something off the cuff, and then, like, there'll be a fantasy sequence that recounts it, but it'll recount it in a really extreme way. And, like, the transitions between the fantasies kind of are a little trippy and, like, blend together pretty well. And a character will be talking about, like, oh, I could never do that, like, I don't want to I don't even remember any of the particular ones. But yeah, I don't know, it's different. Like I said, it's not really my scene, but it's different.
Yeah. I want to also make a note of the soundtrack. The music in the episode had a very kind of like hip hoppy street vibe, which really reflected the tone of the show as well. Really, I think the best thing that I got out of this wasn't necessarily the characters, which I didn't really have any investment in, but just kind of the atmosphere, the tone, the setting. It was
Yeah.
interesting seeing them walking down like the city streets, especially with the one guy looking for all of his stuff, interacting with the street sellers, like that sort of thing, and then seeing them, hanging out on the stoop. they might have been Stoop Kid's cousin, I don't know. And just kind of taking in that atmosphere, that vibe, definitely gives it a very interesting aesthetic to it. I would also say that yes, for those aspects, more on the like artistic side of the show, it's definitely award worthy. I just think that this episode in particular, I wouldn't be surprised if the plot of this episode wasn't the best of the show.
Yeah,
Just
so I'm okay. I try to say this with as much class as possible.
yeah.
Basically, the climax of the episode is that the one girl shaved herself in a private area and took a picture of it and then showed it to her other friend and is like, "See, I'm not copying you. Look at me doing something so outrageous and weird." And it's just like,
Of all
who
the
does
things,
that?
of
Who would
all
do
the
that?
things,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about doing that to your body. Like, that is what it is. But just like doing that, taking a picture and then shoving it in your friend's face at school and saying, "See, I don't copy you. Look at me." And it's just like, what? Do teenagers act this way? Maybe they do. I don't know. They're kind of irrational sometimes.
Yeah.
But it just kind of seemed very, very weird. And then, of course, as soon as a sensitive photo is entered the frame, of course it's gonna get lost at school. Like you know it, right?
Yeah.
It's the 2000 equivalent of accidentally sending nudes.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just weird. It's just weird from the perspective of today.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the weirdest thing is that the friend was not like that surprised by
No,
it. She
they were
looks at
just
this
like,
and she's like, "Oh,
okay.
you did this."
Nice.
It's just
Okay.
like
Good. That's cool. And then the books get swapped because
Yeah, she put the pictures in a book.
Switched.
Yep.
It's like, wow, why have I
I
seen
don't
that
know.
before? Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think the plot very tropey and cliche.
Yeah.
I think that a better episode could have been nominated.
FBI
because-
open up. Yeah. Don't forget
Yeah.
they're in high school.
Yeah, I just I don't know. This is a case where I think that the show definitely has a lot of merit to it, and a better episode could have been picked. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't ever
Yeah.
see myself watching this really ever again because it's not really
No.
my speed or anything I'm interested in. But I respect what it's doing. I respect its like it definitely has an identity. It stands out amongst a lot of other shows that were airing at the time and even today.
Yeah, and I think for what it's worth, oh, thank you for the super chat, Little Dak. Rebel Taxi and Saber Spark should talk about this show. but I think for what it's worth, like, I don't know, issues about, like, your friend copying you, or like having to throw out stuff that you're attached to, like, those are issues that teenagers face.
Yeah.
I think that it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't have anything particularly great to say about these things, but just it does seem like a show that really is meant for teenagers or young adults, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story writing isn't great, but I don't really know that it's so much about the story as it is just the kind of anecdotal nature of them talking about various things and events that have happened to them, and it is also really interesting that the show name drops like products and real TV shows and movies that are real, like nobody's business. Like the guy, he's attached to an Alf VHS. He's got a Cookie Monster pillow. They talk about like all sorts of things. So yeah, it was interesting. I'm glad I watched it, to be honest. This is the sort of thing that like doing this show has kind of forced. I wanted more of this. I want to see more of just kind of random weird one-off stuff, even if it's not something that I'm super into or super attached to. I was exposed to something a little different and new.
Yeah.
Exposed. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. I don't know. Oh gosh, ranking this is gonna be hard, but yeah, not blown away by it.
Yeah, me neither. But I respect it. I definitely think it deserves a nomination. I'm glad it got some recognition back then. So
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, moving on.
Alrighty. So nominee number 3, South Park, Chin Pokemon.
I think you mean Chimpokemon.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Oh boy, this is a fun one. So this is a very early episode of South Park. The plot of this episode is that Chimpokemon, which I shouldn't have to say what it's a parody
obviously a parody of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Chimpokemon is the latest craze in South Park. The kids are watching the TV show, buying the plushes, and falling under a Japanese militaristic plot to take down America. And the parents are concerned about this and try to stop them. This episode is so weird and so funny, and it's so funny in hindsight, especially. So basically, the moral of this episode is that Pokemon is a fad that will fade.
Mm-hmm.
That kids will get over like any other fad.
Yeah.
And here we are, 21 years later, and people are still going absolutely bonkers for games that are a 1-to-1 remake of games they've already played.
Yeah, this episode has both aged horribly and well at the same time. Like that's what makes it so interesting. Because no, Pokemon definitely still going strong. Still,
there were plenty of fads back then. Stuff like Beyblade or I don't know. Like there's especially like anime stuff that came and went. But Pokemon, they just so happened to pick one that became the biggest video game franchise of all time.
The biggest media franchise. It's bigger than Star Wars. It's bigger than Mickey Mouse. Like nothing is bigger than Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a blast. Like just watching this episode, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But aside from the fact that they didn't call it it's just a funny episode that has kind of a funny premise. Like I don't think that the South Park creators really thought that Pokemon was like a plot for Japan to take over America or something.
Yeah.
But just the idea that like that's what it is. I mean like very funny, and the idea like they are kind of spot on their satire of the fact that like kids watch the TV show that gets them to want to buy the toys, that then leads them to get the video games, that then leads them to get more toys because they got to collect them all. Like the satire of the kind of like media empire idea, like it's there and it's spot on and still relevant today.
And they also have the whole commentary of some people being behind at all times. In the case of Kyle, always being one step behind everyone else with the trend. Every time he finally gets into it, everyone else has moved on to the next thing. which is definitely some pretty good
Yep.
commentary.
And even though it's not necessarily true of Pokemon, I like the idea that everything was solved by the parents getting into it, because nothing makes something immediately not cool like your parents trying to like get with it, you know? Trying to put bumper stickers on their car and stuff. That's pretty great.
It was a genius solution to the conflict
Yeah.
of the episode. I thought it was brilliant. And
Alabama Man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, so there's
I
a
forgot
number.
about those commercials. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. You were cracking up during this episode. Shadow didn't laugh much during the Family Guy one, but he was cracking up during this because there's a bunch of commercials in it, fake commercials, live action commercials for a bunch of random toys, including Alabama Man who like drinks alcohol and hits his wife, and it's just, but it's an action figure that kids are playing with. There's also like the what is it?
Disturbing like a Cronenberg big wheel.
the bicycle that you can't ride because like there's two handles to control it.
They literally built this thing and put some poor defenseless child on it and said, "Here, try to ride this across the street," and you just see the kid struggling the whole time. And then there's one shot where they literally, I'm assuming it's a doll or something, but they basically push the thing into a truck and it explodes, and it's just the most stupid thing. But dude, sometimes just ridiculously dumb humor like that is just, it's a riot for me. So I was laughing hysterically the whole time. And then every time the adults would go talk to the Japanese businessmen.
Oh boy.
And their way of getting out of the conversation. Oh my god, that I was dying. It was funny. It's a very funny episode.
Kenny having a seizure because Pokemon causes seizures. And then it's just kind of funny too, because he's gonna die, but they just kind of leave him alive and in a seizure state during most of the episode.
And then
until a bunch of possums burst from him at the end. I thought this was a great episode. Definitely worthy of nomination. It is very telling that like, even though they got things wrong about Pokemon specifically, it's still an episode that's funny and meaningful, and that's just good writing right there.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of the same themes and ideas, despite the actual content that was used to employ it being inaccurate. What the episode's going for, I think, is still plenty relevant today and can be applied to basically any fad or trend when it comes by. It's big for a while, and then people will move on eventually most of the time. But no, it's a riot through and through. Also, the actual clips where they're showing the show, like the weird James thing, and I can't even remember what that robot chin Pokemon is called. But some of these things have like
Shu.
Yeah, Shu, and some of them just have ridiculous names that it's like, I just love the satire. I love it's hysterical. It's definitely it's not my favorite episode of South Park. It's really hard to top that Black Friday one, but this one was still great. This one was still a really good South Park episode. Definitely in my top 5 of what I've seen.
I mean, unfortunately, it has the characters. What is it? They use gay as a slur in this episode. It's just it's 2000. But but I still don't think it's right.
No, I agree.
Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, there are plenty of earlier South Park episodes that are pretty rough. Like you can definitely see again the animation. It's like we are literally stepping back in time. It's getting cruder and cruder with South Park. If you want to watch the evolution of the series, watch it in reverse because it really does show like how far they've come in terms of their designs, in terms of like how even like the frame rate at which characters move.
And the way they actually walk too, because in this they're kind of like just bopping back and forth, which is always it's kind of a stable aesthetic. But in the newer specials, they don't really do it in the same way.
Sometimes they hop, sometimes they actually physically move their legs. Like it really depends on the shot and the scene. But yeah, no. So I thought this was a great episode, definitely worth a nomination. Just really hits the nail on the head in terms of kind of pop culture crazes. And parents' reactions to it, and it's just a funny exaggeration that the Pokemon is an evil plot to take over America,
which some people did think.
Yeah, that's true. They thought it was a sign of the devil.
Yep. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, this episode, just like the Black Friday one, went on to be major aspects of the video game, The Stick of Truth. Pokemon are the collectibles.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, so fourth up, we have the Powerpuff Girls with the pairing of Beat Your Greens and Down and Dirty.
Mr. Streak, you wanna take this one? Which one you want to talk about first?
We'll do Beat Your Greens first, since that's the first of the two.
Okay.
So Beat Your Greens is an episode in which an alien race of alien broccoli sends spores down to planet Earth.
Don't sound embarrassed saying it.
I'm not sounding embarrassed. It's a very strange plot. They send spore pods down to planet Earth, infect all of the vegetables, which the parents all eat and become brainwashed. Meanwhile, the kids refuse to eat it because obviously kids hate vegetables. The broccoloids try to take over the world. The kids aren't infected and they fight back to save their parents. What a strange concept for an episode.
Even for the Powerpuff Girls,
Yeah.
it's an out there one. Yeah, I agree with you, Philip. I like broccoli. I've always liked broccoli. It's pretty good. It smells weird, definitely. I think maybe that's why kids don't like it. It smells weird. It's got a weird texture, so it might take some getting used to.
And
But I
it's
think
green.
broccoli's. Oh no, green.
Yeah.
You're green.
I am?
I guess so.
Call me Shrek.
Toon J would pick Collect Her / Supervillain over this, and I think that's an excellent choice.
It's a fair choice, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think these two episodes were nominated just because of the amount of action in both of them. I think that's really it. I don't think either of these episodes is, like, stand out in terms of, like, story ideas. I mean, it's weird. The broccoli people are weird, but I don't think it's weird in a way that's, like, the most creative thing ever. It's just kind of like, well, yeah. But I think this one got nominated just because it has a lot of action. There's a lot of like action with the broccoli people, and then the second episode also has a lot of action. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say this is like a top tier Powerpuff Girls episode, but it's definitely a fun and memorable one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This one has a lot of, like, iconic moments. Especially, like, the thing that I love most about this episode is how it's one of these episodes where if you actually, like, stop and think about what they're doing, it's really gruesome. Because they're essentially eating these things alive, and when you consider the fact that they're sentient creatures, it's just all sorts of messed up. But I definitely love the way it kind of plays on the whole kids hate eating healthy foods, but they're put in a situation where they're forced to do it. And by the end of the episode, they're just like all about eating these things because they don't have to deal with any more alien vegetables. I think some of the action sequences, especially with the different ways that the kids use various utensils and like salt and pepper and cheese, and when they bring in the goats, they're all just creative ways to kind of devour these alien species. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of creativity showing in there. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward episode. There's not really like a deep message that this one's really going for or trying to poke at, but you know, it's what Powerpuff Girls tends to do well a lot of the time, and that's just be a fun action comedy blend. I think
Well, it's that very I've talked about this before a lot of times, but it's that fantasy and reality elements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's the reality is in real life, you know, a lot of kids watching this very episode might have a hesitation towards trying broccoli, just like the girls do. And then the fantasy element comes in that, like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if you had to fight a bunch of broccoli aliens and, like,
you gotta eat them to beat them.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. My favorite quote in this entire episode is, "That scared the pants off of me," when Bubbles is running in the scarecrow pants and she screams. That's the best line. But yeah, no, I think there's some pretty good jokes in here. Yeah, it's just a silly premise. This is neither of these episodes, like this pairing isn't what I would have nominated. I think that definitely Collect Her and Supervillain is definitely one of the contenders I would push for.
Yeah.
I would also actually push for Dream Scheme and You Snooze, You Lose as a pairing, because Dream Scheme is definitely one of the most standout episodes of the season, being that it's told completely in rhyme, and it has a really interesting concept with the girls essentially giving the Sandman night terrors in a very unique animated sequence that definitely sticks out. And then another pairing, it just barely doesn't make the cut, but if it did, I would have also gone with Something's Amiss and Slumbering with the Enemy as another, but that just barely doesn't make it because that was like the month after. I would say
Something's Amiss is very good.
yes, and Slumbering with the Enemy is very good as well.
Yeah.
But I would say the Powerpuff Girls best rainy day adventure ever and Just Desserts, but the problem with it is while the Powerpuff Girls best rainy day adventure ever is my favorite episode, it doesn't really work unless you know the rest of the show. And Just Desserts is a sequel episode to another episode that if you haven't seen the first one, it doesn't land nearly as well. But anyway, that tangent aside, getting back to this, I think this episode's fine. Not my go-to pick for being nominated.
Yeah, no, I thought, yeah, it's creative, it's fun, it's not anything crazy. Down and Dirty, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, we can move on to that one.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so Down and Dirty is an episode in which the girls fight a couple monsters and Buttercup doesn't want to take a bath after her fights. So she progressively gets dirtier and dirtier while her sisters continue to clean themselves. Buttercup feels justified in this by saying, well, I'm just going to get dirty again. What's the point? As the episode goes along, she gets grosser and grosser until the entire town has to run her out because she smells so bad. And the only reason that she ends up getting a bath in the end is because she can't even fight monsters anymore. That's how bad she smells. Moral of the story is
run away from her.
Yep. Moral of the story is practice good hygiene.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, it's a dumb story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is literally just Buttercup just doesn't want to take a bath. It's kind of funny because both of these are just moral episodes about things that kids don't like doing. I wonder if they intentionally paired them together for that reason. But yeah, the story itself is basically just she doesn't feel like it, and then instead of actually parenting her, Professor Utonium just kicks her out, and then the town just
take a bath.
And then it's funny, but like, you know, you would kind of expect a little more from him, maybe.
Yeah.
And then the town just kicks her out, and then the monsters won't fight her, and then she just takes the bath. Like it's very like unceremonious at the end.
Yeah.
I kind of expected her to get like hit into the ocean and all the grime to come off her, or like some major catastrophic thing that happens. But it really is just, monsters don't want to fight her anymore, so that's the final straw. She can live without her family, but not fighting monsters.
Yep.
but I will say, despite all that, the episode is an excuse for like a lot of great action because it's basically just scene after scene after scene of Buttercup fighting a lot of monsters, often in very like gruesome and kind of gory ways, which is great. I think it's a lot of fun, a lot of really great animation, good monster designs.
That's the thing. That's the thing with this episode that I find most remarkable is the fact that, in essence, this is a gross out episode.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't bother me the way most gross out episodes do. And I think it's justified by the fact that it's not just gross out for the sake of gross out. It's actually used with the purpose of getting Buttercup dirtier and dirtier to forward and escalate the severity of her stench. Not to mention the fact that the way that she gets covered in like snot and a septic truck and other various, disgusting substances. It's all an after effect of the violence and the action. Whereas, like, especially with season 5 and 6 episodes, it's much more just in your face, gross out for the sake of gross out without really serving a narrative purpose. And I think that's why it doesn't bother me as much. And I commend it for that because it found a way to do it in a not so in your face, blatant, explicit way. Mm-hmm. The way that later episodes would go on to do.
Ro whatever says Buttercup should have just said Camp Lesla sucks if she wanted to fight Monster. Oh, yes,
man. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah. Gendy did work on these episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Yep.
did see that. I think he's the first credit in the end credits.
He is for this
So
pairing, yeah.
yeah, so like the first credit after they get their credits after the title card.
Yep.
He was what, like creative
I think he was
supervisor or something.
supervisor, yeah.
Yeah. So good job, Gendy. Good job, Craig McCracken.
Yep.
Two lovable guys. Great creators. Those knuckleheads. Sometime guest star of the show, Gendy.
Yeah, Gendy's been on a couple times. We might get him back on soon. You don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to. I mean, we're coming up on Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
He was a little busy this week, but maybe sometime soon.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do. We'll pull a few strings.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, as a pairing, this one is not the best. But I mean, it does kind of show off what the Powerpuff Girls is really. It's a bunch of fight scenes. It's kind of like interesting, weird, supernatural ways to deal with regular childhood issues. And so yeah, for that, I think it's worth a nomination, even if there were better options out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ultimately, I think both these episodes are good episodes, and they definitely succeed and achieve what they're trying to do. I like them both. I don't have too many negative things to say about either of them at all, really. It's just that, like you said, there are a couple ones that I think are more deserving. But still, if you're going at this from the aspect of like 2 episodes of a cartoon that are aiming to, basically state a message or kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of express an idea about some type of moral, especially to its target demographic of kids. Mm-hmm. It definitely succeeds, and it's admirable on that front. So I think it's creative and worthy, not the worthiest.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, of what we've talked about so far, like, this is definitely the most interestingly animated.
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, Downtown was interesting too, but this one has a lot more action, a lot more stuff to it. It's actually kind of surreal to think this came out at the same time as that Family Guy episode because they just look so different.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
All right. So, last but not least, The Simpsons with the episode Behind the Laughter. This is season 11, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
so this episode we pull back the curtain and find out that the Simpsons are actually characters portrayed by the Simpsons. The Simpsons is a show that was made when Homer one day realized he could make a better TV show than those Joker executives, and so he pitched the idea, and we get to see the rise and fall of the Simpsons, including drug addictions and the gang falling apart and all sorts of behind the scenes stuff in a parody of Behind the Music, the MTV show. So this is technically a mockumentary episode, but definitely not like the dinosaur things we had to watch.
There are no prehistoric beasts, so
I don't know.
with
Is Mr. Burns in the episode?
That's not prehistoric. He may be a beast, and he may be old, but he's not prehistoric.
Oh, you don't know, Shadow. Mr. Burns might be prehistoric. It's hard to say.
Okay. Well, maybe if he's immortal.
I mean, The Simpsons is a prehistoric beast. That's a very good point, Invader Pest. Oh, man. Okay, so anyway, this is really good. This one is, like, every season, they try to do, like, at least one format-bending episode. And this is it for this season. Mm-hmm. I think, if nothing else, you can definitely say that this episode is bold and interesting in terms of what it's trying to do and convey. So, like, the fact that it's like a fictionalized version of the characters playing the characters, like, it's very interesting. It's not like, Homer Simpson is played by John Smith, and then they bring out a guy named John Smith, and he's like, "Hi, I do Homer." Like it's just kind of like this weird hypothetical. What if the real Simpsons were also the Simpsons on the show? What if the show was just made based off of their reality? And in that way, it's kind of clever and very weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I thought the presentation was good. I went after the fact. Um, Later that night, I actually went and I looked up some behind the music stuff to kind of compare like the bumpers and the transitions that they kind of had going on, and I thought it was an interesting parody. I liked the presentation, and the Talking Heads documentary style, well, mockumentary style, was definitely an interesting way to kind of present this entire episode. I think this is one of the most unique Simpsons episodes we've watched for the entire award show audit.
Yeah.
And
They don't reason they don't always nominate the genre bending episodes that they do, like the Run Lola Run parody was not nominated the in 2001 for some reason. Don't know why.
Yeah, I thought that this was exceptionally well made and a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed it. I liked how each character had kind of their own little story going on of what happened before, during, and after.
Yes.
I I like the sequence of them pitching the show to a couple different places, and they ultimately ended up with Fox. Gee, I wonder why. Um, but yeah, I thought that there were plenty good gags. Even though I didn't get the callbacks, I still was able to recognize when they were making callbacks to the show in previous episodes. Like,
Yeah.
I've not seen the Homer jump in the gorge thing, but I still, as soon as I saw that clip, I was like, oh, I know what that's about. So, because I'm very aware of that being a very famous moment of the series.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's very funny too. That's the thing. Shadow was laughing a lot at this one. Like the jokes about how Homer's talking about the gorge as if like it was a real stunt that he did and he really just fell. Like there's a lot of jokes like Bart and Lisa taking what is it, like hormone suppressant to keep them young for years and years. The joke
They acknowledge Homer strangling Bart as like
yes,
this horrible act of child abuse became such a running gag that America loved or whatever.
Yeah, became a beloved running gag.
Yep.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. It's a clever episode and it has a lot of random jokes. Like at the end with Huckleberry Hound, where they're like, next week Huckleberry Hound, and he was like, I was so gay and I couldn't tell anyone. Yeah. It's just like so weird, so very weird. I liked Homer's first idea at a TV show where he's like, no, it has to be grounded and realistic, and then it's about the boss coming home for dinner and the washing machine
overflowing with suds. Yeah.
So
humble beginnings.
Yeah, just a very good, very clever episode. Definitely worthy of a nomination.
Absolutely.
It's mockumentary as a format is not done all the time. But like, you know, I think in this instance it was done pretty well. Oh yeah, the narrator using increasingly convoluted metaphors, and I guess I don't know if it has anything. It probably is the style of behind the music, right? All these weird verbose metaphors and like, you know, the dramatic visuals. Like it'll show a picture falling slow-mo off the mantle to talk about the decline of the Simpsons. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very stylistic, and it's a very solid parody, at least from what I could see. Because of what I saw behind the music, there's definitely like those weird transitions and the mid cards, I guess you could call it, where it's like, we'll be right back with behind the laughter and whatnot.
I liked when Homer bought MC Hammer's house and he just hammered the A to be an O.
Yeah, Homer time. That's good.
Yeah, I don't know, just a lot of good jokes. We're rounding up on the classic era of The Simpsons, and this is what is like basically widely believed to be the best episode of season 11. So there's not a lot of debate on that one. Season 11 does not have that many episodes that are even decent. But yeah, this is one of them. This is you know, really good, really cool, and you're starting to see maybe some of the jokes that are very classic Simpsons.
Yeah.
Even if this is maybe a little past its prime.
Well, it only gives me hope for the rest of the next decade, so I'm
But yeah,
excited.
yeah. If nothing else, the '90s is going to give us the best of the Simpsons. So we know that there's going to be one nominee almost every year. That should hopefully be good. Hopefully they pick good episodes. Hopefully,
Hopefully.
hopefully. Um. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Streak, let's talk about our own nominees.
Okay. All right. Would you like to go do the honors, or should I?
Sure,
Okay.
I got this. So I think people would riot and throw me in a fire if I didn't nominate SpongeBob
Mm-hmm.
season one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the pairing that I went with, or I think the pairing I went with from March of 2000 is Arg and Rock Bottom. So
Mm-hmm.
I think from season one, there's a few candidates that you could have chosen. I could have chosen SB129 and Karate Choppers is a pretty fantastic half
Yeah.
hour. Of course, Pizza Delivery is like an all-time amazing episode, but Home Sweet Pineapple certainly isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the B of that story. So I think just like Arg is a very funny episode with two gold doubloons and Mr. Krabs being sweaty, taking them on this crazy journey based on a board game. I
Yes.
think it's just
I
very
thought you
funny.
said we.
Yes, yes. It's very funny, very memorable, and Rock Bottom is just one of those episodes that is just an all-time great. It's the sort of thing where you can plop anyone down in front of it. I think they'll get a laugh because there are just so many top-tier jokes, so many great moments. The candy, the vending machine, and the talking with the tongue out, and the glove world, and there's so many moments in it that are just so good. So I'm sad that nothing from season one of SpongeBob was nominated, but I get that at that point it hadn't become a huge hit yet. They didn't Nickelodeon didn't know to submit it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like there's, and I mean, you could nominate the first episode, Help Wanted. I mean, really you could nominate anything, but almost anything. But I think that pairing is just a really solid pairing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That's an excellent choice. For me, I'm actually going to pick an episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog, from season one as well of that show. The pairing I'm going with is King Ramsay's Curse, beloved episode, and The Clutching Foot. And the reason I'm going with this pairing is,
Yes.
yeah, I know. The reason I'm going with this pairing is because I think it has the best of both worlds when it comes to Courage the Cowardly Dog. In the case of King Ramsay's Curse, as a lot of people know, that is definitely one of the most widely regarded as being one of the most horrifying episodes. Especially back then, when I was a kid, this episode freaked me out a lot more than it does now. But just
Return the
Return the
slab.
Slab, the creepy King Ramsay's CG fog shot is
Yep.
just iconic from this show. The basic premise, obviously, being that Eustace manages to grab this valuable slab, which has a triad of plagues on it, and ultimately Eustace, being the stubborn mule that he is, doesn't want to give it up after the warnings, and it causes King Ramses to essentially inflict these three different plagues on their home, which, in pure courage fashion, tends to lead to some horrifying scenarios, most of which are more horrifying the more you think about it. The second episode is The Clutching Foot, in which Eustace
Yes.
gets this American gangster foot fungus that consumes his entire body to the point where he's just a giant purple foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, yeah. And Courage basically has to work with this foot fungus
I-
to find a cure for the infection, and it's just one of the most, like, when it comes to Courage the Cowardly Dog, it is not afraid to do absurd things too. And
you're kind of peeking your mic, by the way. You might want to
Oh.
step back a little bit.
I can do that.
Yeah.
But it is one of the most absurd plots for a Courage the Cowardly Dog episode, and like I said, I think that this pairing
And memorable.
and memorable
Definitely.
too. I think that both of these episodes together definitely represent the show as a whole and have a lot of things going for them that it would be worthy of recognition.
Nice. Thank you for the super chat, Tunjay, who nominates Parents' Day from Hey Arnold. Released in 1998 in the UK, but on Nick, it waited until the year 2000. Weird.
Weird.
That's a good one. I think I did. I think I'm. No, we didn't do a recast episode, but we talked about that episode a little bit. It's
What's your
good.
offer? Yeah. Sorry,
Oh
man.
my.
What's your offer? Dude, Eustace is. I used to hate Eustace as a kid, but now he's like the best character of that entire show. Bar
he's
none.
he's a
So
real
good.
hero. He's
Not getting out of
someone
my chair.
someone to aspire to.
Yes, truly. I see myself as Eustace in 50 years. Not getting out of my chair. Yeah, Eustace is great. Courage
Kim
is great.
Granzy is in the chat.
Oh!
Oh no!
No.
Our live show is gonna be cursed.
Oh boy. Return the slab. Return it, pie.
No.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah. So that's
All right.
the nominations for that year.
Okay. Now our rankings.
Okay. All right. As a reminder, by the way, go vote in the poll if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Go vote in the poll.
Okay, rankings. I guess since you shared your nominee first, I guess I can rank first. Okay, so for this year, okay, is Faith still here?
Gosh.
Sorry, that was me pumping my knuckles together.
What?
I was pumping my knuckles.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
You're doing an anime thing for no reason, even though no one can see you.
Sure. So number 5 at the very bottom, I'm putting Family Guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Faith.
Aren't you a little young to rank Family Guy that low?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just like compared to the rest of these, I think Family Guy just has the least.
But
merit.
what about Brian's dead mom, who's a table?
That went nowhere. Yeah, it was underwhelming. Yeah,
What about Kitty? What about Kitty?
No, I don't care about Kitty. I don't care about Homer. I don't care about Peter spending $50 on a VHS tape. I don't care. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Family Guy's is number 5. Number 4. I'm gonna put Downtown because I think that there could have been a better episode nominated, but I appreciate what it does. Number 3, I will put Powerpuff Girls, despite being a biased fan.
Holy!
Yeah, no, I know. Everyone, hold on to your seatbelts. Yeah, no, I'm personal preference is Powerpuff Girls, but I gotta be an unbiased, like fair, reasonable Emmy voter here. So I would say that while I think that the Powerpuff Girls pairing is good, it does not quite live up to the same writing quality that South Park and Simpsons do. I'm going to put South Park at number 2 and Simpsons at number 1 because while I love both of these episodes, I think they're both hysterical and definitely have a lot of great jokes and are both pretty clever commentaries on what they're talking about. Simpsons has the better presentation, the more standout, unique presentation relative to South Park in the way that it kind of presents the mockumentary style while also being hyperbolic with its transitions and its animation and the setting. But I think both of those episodes are definitely worthy of taking home the win. It's another one of those like really close competitions between them, but I could go either way. But The Simpsons I think just barely gets an edge out for me personally on this one. So yeah, that's
fair.
That's my placement.
All right. Yeah, my list is similar to yours. Family Guy's at the dead bottom. And then Downtown.
I can just see Faith raging in the chat.
Yeah. I'm so glad we never have to watch Family Guy again.
I know, right? Never
be
again.
honest.
We're done.
We are not Family Guy people. So yeah. So Family Guy did last. Then Downtown. Downtown beats it out just because it is more stylistically interesting, I think. I agree. Like, it's just like, I want to give the show credit because I kind of like the idea, like some of the style choices they picked, but I don't think the episode itself is particularly great.
Right.
And then at number 3, I think I'm also gonna put Powerpuff Girls. I wish they had picked better episodes. They're solid, they're fine, but they're not. There's nothing really to stand out. And then
is tough, right?
Here's the problem is that Pokemon was pretty early in South Park. Like we're talking, I think season 3 or 4. Whereas The Simpsons is like well after it's been established and everything. They're both episodes that kind of break formula a little bit. Like South Park's has live action commercials and just like a very very funny premise. But then again, I guess live action commercials aren't animation. So I'll put South Park at number 2. Very very solid episode, very funny. But Behind the Laughter is an episode that really really breaks format in a really good way. It kind of sets out to do something and it does it in an amazing way that's very funny, very different, very interesting. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey Lois, Shadow Streak's talking about us.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Alrighty.
You know, Shadow and Pie Guy, Road to Rhode Island was the #1 show on Fox that night.
Oh my gosh. Was it? I wonder if it was. Maybe it wasn't.
Well, it probably was because every other Simpsons episode that year was hot garbage. So
True.
yeah, there you go. I'll tell you what, Faith. That episode of Family Guy is probably better than every other Simpsons episode in season 11.
Except the one that was nominated.
Yes, every other one. There you go.
Yeah. Man, the chat is just full of Family Guy quotes, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I can go ahead and announce which episode ended up winning.
Yep, go for it.
Alrighty. So, in a shocking twist of events, MTV's Downtown... No, I'm just kidding. The Simpsons Behind the Laughter actually got the award as well. So...
Yay.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it was definitely deserving of it. If it, it is a standout episode amongst these nominees, and it is also a standout from The Simpsons, especially from all that I've seen of The Simpsons, at least my experience with it.
Yeah. And you know what? This episode has a bunch of award shows in it, which is something.
Yeah. So there you go.
That Family Guy episode was #2 on Fox that night behind That 70s Show.
Well, there you go. It wasn't even #1. Take that, Faith.
Interesting. I didn't. Wow. Gee. Should I unmodder so she can't wreak havoc?
Yeah, let's just start a war with Faith. Why not?
Okay. I removed her moderator status.
No, you don't have to do that.
Anyone want to be a moderator?
Oh, now I feel like we're just bullying.
Yeah. Well.
Oh man.
I added her back. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. We're all fine.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking around. It wasn't bad. It was just underwhelming.
Yeah. Okay. So now for the poll. Get your votes in now. I'm about to refresh the page. Here we go. Unless anyone wants to pop out from backstage with some sort of wacky voice. Do we have Dan Povenmire here? Is Dan Povenmire backstage?
Dan?
Dan? Hello! It is me!
God. Oh god. This is a mistake. Why did we invite him?
It is Professor Dan Povenmire!
Oh no.
I have brought my Emmy Awardinator to award myself the Emmy!
Oh my god.
Alright, Dan, you can...
You go do that over in the corner somewhere else, please.
Yeah,
We're in the middle of the show here.
Alright, Dan, come back. Come back
don't.
never.
Just don't.
Come back if
Just
we
go
do
away.
the short form and you can do Phineas and Ferb. It's fine. You'll okay. I'm off to the Pizza Party podcast. Bye.
Oh god.
All right. Well. Okay.
Dan.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah. I'm glad he didn't hear what we had to say about Family Guy.
Yeah, I know. He would have been upset.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Butch Hartman worked on that episode?
I hope not.
His early Family Guy. No, I don't think Butch did anything past the the pilot. But okay, so the poll. Unless we have any other wacky character. No, okay. All right. So Oh my gosh, this poll. Out of 356 votes, in
Okay.
dead last, unsurprisingly, with 2%, it's Downtown Before and After.
Yeah, unsurprising.
Not surprising. Okay. Wow. Second to last, at 11%, it is The Simpsons Behind the
Really?
Laughter.
Wow.
That's sad, guys.
All right. Well, I gotta prep the other thing that it probably is then. Okay.
Well, at 12 at 12%, just barely beating it out. At number 3, it is the Powerpuff Girls. Beat Your Greens and Down and Dirty. At 31%, in second place, it's Chin Pokemon, and at 45%, it's Road to Rhode Island.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I think Faith rigged it, to be honest with you. That's my guess.
Wow. Faith rigged our poll.
Yep. Thanks.
Well, thanks for all the bot votes, guys.
All the comments say that the Simpsons are great. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Okay, maybe not all the comments, but all right.
I'm shocked.
The results.
45. Wow.
The results are switched. Powerpuff Girls got 11. Oh. Okay. Shocking upset.
So Simpsons and Powerpuff Girls are switched?
Yeah, my mistake.
No
The Simpsons is third. Powerpuff Girls is fourth. But it's 11 and 12%.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah. Thank you for the correction, though. It's probably changed now. Redway2, thank you for the super chat. Who says they really like Downtown. That's fair. I thought it was cool stylistically. Like I think there definitely is an audience for it. I would guess that it's probably kind of like Clone High in that it's like one of those shows that you either get and you really like, or it's just like you just don't get it. You know, like it's just not really for you. So.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Surprising, but that's the poll.
Yep. There we are. All right, and we're a little early this week.
How about that? Maybe we do have time for one more special guest.
Dan, you want to come back, Dan? Dan? Hey, where's Dan?
Clearly, he's not here anymore.
He's not.
I guess he was serious about going to that other podcast because he's gone.
I think he went over to the Pizza Platypus podcast.
Wow.
Huh. Do we have Family Guy here?
Do we have the Family Guy?
Oh man, Seth MacFarlane. I don't know if we can get him. I've talked a lot of crap about Seth MacFarlane in my life. I don't know that he'd come on our show.
Well, maybe we could get him to do his Emperor Palpatine voice because it's so unique and iconic and very different from all of his other voices that he's done.
Don't even Redway2. Don't even joke about that. We are not inviting that person on our show. No.
They're not allowed to be.
No.
Do not even attempt to dump on Mr. MacFarlane. Listen, I'm not dumping on him. He's a great Emperor impression. He's got a great Emperor voice.
Can I at least review seasons 11 and 12 of the SpongeBob? Yeah, let me do it real quick, just right now. They all suck. They are all awful. There you go.
No.
If you want my gut impression reviews.
I honestly, Pi, every time someone asks you that, from now on, you should literally just post the SpongeBob clip of no. Are you sure? Yes.
I'll just lower the rating. I'll just start lowering the ratings on good episodes.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Pizza
and speaking of which, episode fun is a ScumbBob episode. Bring in Chris Pratt to promote the Mario movie.
I mean, honestly, I'd be down to have Chris Pratt on this show.
What does Chris Pratt sound like, though? I don't know.
He sounds like Chris Pratt. Come on. What other voice does he have besides his own?
Well, you know, Shadow, every once in a while you can invite a guest on. Why do I have to invite everyone? I heard Mickey Mouse is backstage.
Mickey Mouse has stage fright, unfortunately. He only comes out when he's like comfortable.
Okay.
But, right now he's telling me that he's feeling very on the spot and doesn't wanna. There's a lot of contention around him right now with all these live action remakes that are being made, and he doesn't really want to do
So just the award show audit get invaded often. Well, the thing is, you know, we have an all-star audience right now. sitting in the audience. You guys can't see it, but from where I'm looking, we've got all sorts of creators out there. We got Matt Groening, we got Jonan Vasquez, we got Bill Murray's here for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never know who's gonna get an award, so they all have to stay here.
Yeah, they're just kind of watching us as we just stand here on stage. It's pretty great.
Yep. You sure you don't have any friends off stage that you could?
It's me, Mickey Mouse. I'm sorry. No.
Shadow. No. You can't just put on an accent and say you're someone. That is absurd, my friend.
I saw Daniel Davis's comment saying it's a me, Mickey, and I just realized that every single guest that we bring on this show has an Italian accent, whether or not they're actually Italian. Why is that? Why do they always feel like putting on an Italian accent?
Please stop bringing up problematic people in the chat. They're not going to come on here.
No.
I'm sorry. We're not inviting bad people.
No.
Please stop. I don't care if they worked on the Powerpuff Girls. They're bad people.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. It's a shame we didn't book Andy for this week. He would have been real good.
He would have been great. I have so many more questions to ask him that I definitely haven't already asked him on 3 other shows.
What about George Lucas? Is he here?
Well, we didn't have a Star Wars thing, so unfortunately, no.
Okay.
George Lucas only shows up if Star Wars is involved. Otherwise, he's contractually obligated to stay away. It's part of his terms. I had to read over the contract with him before we had him on the first time.
All right. You know what? I've just been told we have Homer Simpson here. Oh my God! Let's get him out here. Homer, say something. Homer. Show the people you're here.
Homer, that's your cue.
Hey, everyone. You want to go out for some frosty chocolate milkshakes, boo-boo?
Hey, boo-boo. What's in that pigment basket?
Are you making fun of me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not taking you out for frosty chocolate milkshakes now.
Well, that's just rude.
Alright, thanks, Homer. Bye! Shadow, just end the dang show!
Oh my God. Okay.
If you're not gonna contribute, end the show! You're just gonna sit here until I come up with a guess?
Oh my God, I'm dying.
I'm having trouble breathing. You think I could call a guest to the stage with this voice that I'm cracking up? All right, fine. You know what? You want it? Fine. Here he comes. Here's Seth MacFarlane, everybody. Here he comes. Yeah, get him out here, Sethy boy. Hey, everybody. What is up? I am Seth MacFarlane. A boob it up bow, singing some show tunes for you.
All right, so go away, Seth. Go away.
Did you like my performance as Brian in this episode? When my mom died, it was real sad in the show as Brian.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm dying.
Can I bring my friend Butch Hartman?
No. No, you can't. No.
Yeah, I don't think Butch is coming. But we got Seth here. Anyone have any questions for Seth MacFarlane?
Oh my God.
Anyone? Actually, I regret making Road to Rhode Island. I feel like that episode was just not indicative of my quality of work. Thank you.
Oh my God.
I hereby renounce that episode forever. It was trash, and I am starting to sound like Obama.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay.
Seth, we got a question here. How'd you come up with the Simpsons crossover? Fox handed me money, so... It seemed today that all you see was violence in movies and sex on TV, so... We put the Simpsons on our show. Alright, thank you.
Well, I just died and came back to life.
Do you have any questions for Mr. MacFarlane?
No. No, I'm just trying to catch my breath right now. Oh, I have not
I would
laughed
just
that
let.
hard in a long time.
Okay, I'm glad. I regret not bringing these people on when we streamed on when you were physically here because
No,
I
that
feel
would have
like
been
that would have been
bad.
really
That
good.
would have been so
Um,
bad. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well,
You
Crimson
have a
Flower
question. What
has
are
a
next
question.
week's nominees? Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
All right, Mr.
um,
McFarland. Thank you for being here. Thank you for denouncing Road to Rhode Island. I'm sorry to hear that. I actually thought it was a great episode. Is what I would say. But yeah. So thank you, and have a good night. Oh, I see him walking away silently. Very odd of him to not talk for once, but I'll take it.
okay. All right. All right. I'm good. I'm good. We can announce next week's nominees
Hey,
finally.
Shadow, you ever notice that all the people we call on our show don't actually show up on stage?
Yeah.
Well,
They're
it's
they're
because
family friends.
they're in the audience. You know,
Yeah, I
that's
mean, little do
why.
people realize we only have a budget enough for one camera, so we can only
Yeah.
afford the one, and we can't even move it. That's how little of a budget we have, so it's just stationary all the time. Uh,
Okay, Shadow, what do we got next?
okay. All right, so since we did the hour-long category last week, we're going straight to 1999 with the half-hour half-hour category for that year. So, 5 nominees as per usual. Starting up with the first nominee of 1999 is King of the Hill with the episode "And They Call It Bobby Love" instead of Puppy Love.
Very early King of the Hill.
We've also got Futurama with an episode called "A Big Piece of Garbage." Hopefully, the episode isn't.
A very early episode of Futurama. Yeah, no, the episode's good. Don't worry.
Okay. Whew. We have the PJs with the episode "He's Gotta Have It." Stop motion.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, different.
We have the
I'm down.
Powerpuff Girls once again with the pairing of Bubble Vicious and the Bear Facts. Yeah. And last but not least, The Simpsons with the episode "Viva Ned Flanders."
That episode?
Yep.
I mean,
Judging by your
yeah.
reaction, it'll be something.
Yeah, something is a way to describe that.
Okay.
It's a good screenshot.
Thanks. I just grabbed the one that looked good, so.
Hey,
Excuse me.
you excited for 2 weeks when we get to talk about Todd McFarlane's Spawn and my friend Martin Luther King Jr.?
I can't wait. I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be a show. That's gonna be a show.
Maybe we can get Martin Luther King on here. No,
we can't.
No, we can't. No. Mm-mm. But we might be able to get Todd McFarlane.
We might if he's around.
If I know what he sounds like, he could come on the show.
Maybe I could hit him up on Twitter and ask if he'd want to do it.
Did someone say Seth MacFarlane?
No, we didn't. Go home. You got your paycheck. Walk away. You got your money. Now leave.
Did you know I created Spawn?
No, you go away. Stop stealing other people's credit. Go away. You're gonna kill me again, Seth. I don't wanna die a third time tonight.
You know, Shadow, Family
No.
Guy is the #1 rated show on
it's
Fox
not.
Network.
No, it isn't. No, it's not. Ah.
Good morning, USA.
Oh my
All right, Seth. All right,
Is that Family Guy or American
we're carting
Dad,
him off.
or-
We're carting him off.
Okay.
We should have asked Seth about CeeLo Green, what it was like working with him.
Oh, that's too bad.
All
Too
right,
bad.
well,
So sad. Boo-hoo.
we stretched this thing out.
We really
Bye,
did.
everyone.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and we'll see you next week with 1999. One more decade to go. See you then.
Yeah.